Hello everyone, and welcome to the last stream of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. Last stream we ended in, well, kind of the middle of the trial in a way. So this stream will be completing that trial and ending the series. So let's get to it. Now then, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Actually, I just forgot that I didn't grab a drink. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. I now have my drink back. I just left it upstairs before I started stream, that was all. Now then, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Well, witness? Yes. How can I help you, Mr. Judge? Well, it seems that if we're to learn the truth, we'll need to hear your testimony. I have no problem with that. But when you've seen what I have, sometimes the truth is better left unknown. In any case, let's hear your testimony. Tell us about the plan that was carried out that night. The whole plan began with my death. A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya Fay would first have to die. The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded in any... But it seems to have succeeded anyway. Tongue got twisted into knots for a second. Wait a minute. Did you just say the plan was to kill Maya Fay? Yes. You have a problem with that? Don't give us that nonsense. Watch yourself, Trite. If you've got a problem, solve it during cross-examination. That's one of my rules. Mr. Godot is correct. And, by the way, that's one of my rules as well. To kill Maya? Could it be true? The whole plan began with my death. A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya Fey would first have to die. The idea is for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway. What do you mean by that? You think the plan was a success? You heard me, just as that woman had hoped. Maya Fey is dead. Now the title of the master will pass on to Pearl Fey. That's absurd. Maya's just... She's just trapped inside the sacred cavern. Really? You're as foolishly optimistic as ever, aren't you, my darling Feeny? Do you want to know the truth? Ever since we met, I've despised you. Your sniveling naivety and your pathetic faith in other people. I can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya? I've got to keep a cool head. And I need to get more information out of her. It's the only way to understand this plan, and what she was after as well. The whole plan began with my death. You were executed last month, correct? Yes, I was hanged. It wasn't exactly pleasant. How did you manage to discuss the plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fay? Last year, she was transferred to the same detention center as me, since I was on death row, and she was my mother. It was actually pretty easy to meet with her. I see. So that's when you discussed the plan. Ha! Are you crazy? At first that woman was planning to kill me as well, even though I'm her own daughter. All to make Pearl Fay the master of Crane. She's a cold, twisted woman. She thought she could finally regain her lost honor. The honor she lost when her younger sister, Misty, took her place as master. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan. A plan, huh? A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. You're talking about Pearl Fay, is that correct? Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us. You and your twin sister, Iris? That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spiritual power. That's why we were abandoned by her, along with our father. So, their father didn't take them? She just gave them to him? Because they didn't have as much spiritual power? Honestly, that adds up a little bit more to me. I wonder if their spiritual powers were cut in half just because they're twins or something. Abandoned. The only person I ever really cared about in life was myself. My sister was a nuisance, so I convinced my father to leave her at an old temple. You mean Iris? Yes, my father remarried a woman who also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around, right? And on top of that, my father had absolutely no interest in children in general. How horrible. The really horrible one was that woman. That bitter, vengeful woman. It was her stubbornness that gave birth to that child, Pearl Faye. She was born with an abundance of spiritual power, unfortunately for her. Morgan Faye heaped all of her broken hopes and dreams onto that poor child's back. All because of her pathetic dreams of having her bloodline become the main family. But for it to work, Maya Faye would first have to die. Maya would have to die, but why? For our bloodline to succeed as the main family, thus making Pearl the new master. The remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of.
Objection!
But Pearls would never agree to a plan like that. She adores Maya. How sad, you still don't get it, do you? What Pearl wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of the master, that's all. That's ridiculous. She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter, and naturally the life of Maya Faye as well. How could anyone do that? The idea was for me to kill Maya, and then have the blame pinned on Iris. You were going to kill Maya? Pearl didn't need to know anything about it. All she had to do was to follow the instructions in the letter and channel me. Then I would have simply used her body and finished the job. In any case, I'm already dead, and there's nothing any of you can do to me. Grr. So the plan was to blame the crime on your younger twin. On Sister Iris of the Hazakura Temple. She and I look absolutely identical. No one can tell us apart. If someone were to witness me killing Maya, naturally they would think it was Iris that had done it. And the witness in this case was the head nun, Sister Bikini. I never would have guessed she was going to return to the Hazakura Temple that night. But she wound up seeing Iris's crime anyway. But why did you want to pin the murder on Iris in the first place? She's your twin sister, isn't she? Twin sister? Don't make me laugh. Well, actually, weren't you even listening, Judge? She just said that she hated her twin anyway. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her. See? Even though they're twins, she cares nothing about her one bit. Backstabber? You just don't understand. You never will. Anyway, I just want to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Faye's plan? I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. It had no point, no value, other than fulfilling her own greedy desires. Yes, it was certainly nothing to be proud of. If that's how you feel, why did you help her carry it out? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya? You may not understand it, being the kind and gentle soul that you are. You may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that. So tell me, why? Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. I only act in my own self-interest. The reason I helped her was for myself. It honestly sounds like they're exactly alike, her and her mother. For my own personal satisfaction. What did you say? So this woman, Dahlia Hawthorne, she had her own reason for wanting Maya dead? Do you understand why I would kill Maya Fey now? What my goal was? Obviously, it's because you were helping Morgan Fey. Helping. Don't make me laugh. From the day I was born to the day I died, I never helped anyone. I lived for myself, and in the end, I died for myself. I thought that was obvious. So she wasn't exactly cooperating with Morgan. She was just using Morgan and her plan so she could accomplish her own goal. All I wanted to do was kill Maya Fey. That was the only way I could think of it to get revenge. Revenge? It looks like I have no choice but to present that piece of evidence. I can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya. I've got to keep a cool head. Wonder what piece of evidence he's talking about. And I need to get more information out of her. It's the only way to understand this plan, and what she was after as well. Okay, the whole plan began with my death. A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fey to install her own daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya Fey would first have to die. Okay, I'm pretty sure I need to do something with this. What was my goal? What was her goal? Do you understand why I would kill Maya Fey now? What my goal was? What was her goal? Didn't she have something against Mia? Maya's older sister and my internal mentor in life and law passed away 2 years ago. I feel like she had it out for Mia at some point. For some reason. Let's try it. Could it be that your actual goal had nothing to do with Maya Fey herself? Yeah, because she didn't even know Maya, but she knew Mia, and that's the only person she knew that connected to Maya. Well, other than Phoenix. So I don't know, I felt like she had it out for one or the other, but doing this wouldn't, like, I guess it would get to both of them, really. As I said, none of you have the power to punish me anymore, because I'm already dead. Well, I had the same problem, you see. You can't punish the dead, and you can't take revenge against them either. You wanted to take revenge on someone? I was sentenced to die because of that woman. Mia Fey. I somehow knew this was it. I wanted to send her a message. It was at her hands that I suffered my first humiliation. I wanted her to feel the same pain she made me feel. Sadly, when I realized revenge was impossible, I gave up. And the reason it was impossible? Was it perhaps because Mia Fey had already died? Yes, and I realized there's only one way to take revenge against the dead. And how do you do that? Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. I wanted to take away the person that Mia Fey loved most. I wanted to kill her with my own hands. That would be the one and only way I could take my revenge against Mia Fey. That was the reason I helped out with that woman's plans. Just for that? For that you would kill Maya? Your goal was no different than that of Morgan Fey. No, it sounds identical, really. As they say, the apple doesn't fall from... As they say, the apple doesn't fall from... Okay. As they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. There we go. So hard to read sometimes. What a cruel plan. Cruel, cold, and heartless. Humph. Don't waste your time preaching to the dead. I've already told you, there's not a thing you can do to me. Oops. At about 9:30 p.m., I materialized into this world. I quickly pinned my hair up and put on a demon warden hood. Then I picked up the staff that was by my side and left Hazakura Temple. So, it was Elise Dexum who channeled her after all. Wait, what? Why would she channel her? That ridiculous head nun never noticed a thing. She left Maya Fey at the inner temple and wobbled back, clutching her poor old back. What did you do then? That kid was easier to handle than I hoped. I caught up with her in front of that stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... Thank goodness. So then you're saying you stabbed Maya? It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. What does that mean? No clear memory. I don't know. I think I was stabbed. Huh. You were stabbed? At the last minute. Maya Fey must have stabbed me, I'm sure of it. That's not like her at all. Maya wouldn't stab a French fry with a plastic fork. Anyway, I suddenly lost consciousness. But before I did, I scrawled her name on the lantern. Just as I was passing out, I wrote Maya behind my back. I would have hoped it would cast suspicion on her. I can't believe she was thinking of that until the bitter end. I just don't understand why, like, Misty Fey would call, like, why would she call her? I guess it'll make sense eventually. I can't believe she was thinking of that until the bitter end. That's where my memory temporarily stops. It stops? I don't have any memory of actually killing Maya Fey with my own two hands. My very last memory was Maya's terror-filled eyes. Then I woke up after that. I was in the sacred cavern, surrounded by darkness. You were in the sacred cavern? Could it be that she went from Misty Fey's body to Maya Fey's body? There was some weird transfer? The entrance was sealed with one of those trick locks. Somehow I had been trapped in there. And how did you wind up in there? I'd like to I'd like to know that myself. Anyway, I was worried. I didn't know whether or not Maya Fey was dead. And I swore I wouldn't return to the underworld until I knew I had killed her myself. For a ghost, you're one tough cookie. I wanted to get out of there and make sure she was dead. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't get out. The trick lock stopped you, huh? I didn't know how to remove it. So then you're saying you were actually confined against your will inside the sacred cavern? Yes, I wanted to get rid of that annoying lock as soon as possible. But it wasn't easy. I kept getting interrupted while I was working on it. Interrupted? It was early in the morning, but someone came into the training hall. What? Who? Could it have been Maya? I thought the same thing, but I couldn't see. Why not? If someone had spotted me, I would have lost my chance to take revenge. So I made sure to hide myself well at the back of the sacred cavern. That morning, only 2 people could have gone into the training hall. Maya and Pearls. Pearls went there to cover the hanging scroll and gravy. Still, I finally managed to remove the lock. But I was too late. What do you mean by that? The flies had already started to gather. The bridge had been fixed and the police had started their investigation, correct? Naturally, I couldn't go out. So instead, I returned to the cavern and put the lock back on myself. I realized I couldn't get a chance to see Maya's corpse as I had hoped. But just then, Lady Luck showed up. Lady Luck? After that big earthquake, she showed up, all by herself. The real Iris. She said she'd come to make sure the sacred cavern was alright, stupid girl. I came out from the sacred cavern and got a feeling for the situation. And I locked her away in my place. I had finally learned exactly what had happened. It was then I learned that the plan had actually succeeded. What do you mean your plan had succeeded? I had misunderstood one thing, you see. That night, the night that had summoned me, I had assumed that it was Pearl Fey. Well, of course, you would have assumed that. It was written in the instructions. But I was wrong. The person who had actually called my spirit back was Misty Fey, the picture book author. But why? I still don't get it. What? Well, that's actually the only possibility, isn't it? After I lost consciousness in the garden, it was her body that was left lying there. Maya Fey. I wasn't able to kill her with my own hands after all. But even so, I made her commit the most vile sin a human can commit. And that is matricide, the sin of killing her own mother. No way! Order in the court. What is the meaning of this? It's true that I was the one who attacked Maya Fey, but even so, the murderer who actually snuffed out Misty Fey's life was none other than her. Well, even if it was her, she was doing it in self-defense. Your darling little Maya. Ridiculous. That's nonsense. Are you sure about that? Just think about it. There's even evidence supporting these facts, isn't there? What? What do you mean? What is this so-called evidence? The fact that Maya Fey had disappeared is evidence enough, isn't it? I don't think it's evidence enough. It's evidence enough that it is possible. It's a possibility that she ran away. Huh? The idea that she's still in the sacred cavern is just ridiculous. She wasn't able to escape from the inner temple, that much is obvious. In that case, there's only one place she could have been. Where? Do we have to spell it out? The bottom of the Eagle River. Where else? Eagle River. Maya Fey killed her long-lost mother. Can you imagine the guilt she must have felt when she realized that? That's why she threw herself into the Eagle River. Most bodies that wind up in there are lost forever. I don't believe this for a second. So, what do you have to say now, Feeny? Oh, oops. Sorry, that's my phone. Were we waiting for something? I remember us waiting for something. Oh, right, the locks. To see if Maya was actually in there. What kind of ringtone is that? It's a ringtone. Godot here. Okay, thanks. What, was it something important? They just finished removing the locks from the sacred cavern. That's great! What about Maya? There was a woman in the cave. Was it Maya Fey? It was the accused, Sister Iris. Huh? Don't look so surprised. I locked her in there yesterday. I just finished telling you that. So, what about Maya? Where is she? There's no one else found inside the sacred cavern. No. It can't be. You know, I still feel like this is Maya, and she's just channeling Dahlia, and when Misty was channeling Maya, she, like, swapped Dahlia's secret into Maya somehow? If that makes sense, anyway. Just a moment, just answering a text message. I told you, didn't I? She's dead. No. No! I'm still gonna believe in my hypothesis until it's proven wrong. It seems that this case has come to an end, a tragic end. Sadly, it appears the killer of Elise Dexum, also known as Misty Faye, was her own daughter, Maya Faye. I don't believe it. Overcome with guilt for what she had done, Maya Faye jumped to her death into the raging waters of the Eagle River. It can't be. 'Cause it isn't. Ha! What do you have to say now? Trite. Have you ever heard this one? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. No matter how improbable it may seem. What is that supposed to mean, Prosecutor Godot? According to this witness, Maya Faye threw herself into the Eagle River. However, is that really the truth? Remember, this woman testified earlier that the bridge was already on fire when the murder was taking place in the garden. Which means, if Maya had thrown herself into the river, it must have been from the inner temple side near the bridge. That's right. That's where she jumped from. But that's impossible. It's impossible to jump into the river from there. What? Is it? Don't get your panties all twisted up, Trite. Just relax and think through the whole thing again. So, it's impossible. Maya couldn't have thrown herself into Eagle River. Well, Mr. Wright, Miss Hawthorne claims Miss Faye threw herself into the river from the inner temple side. Do you have do you have any evidence that refutes this claim? Well, I don't even know what he's talking about. Alright, Well, let's check the map. Oh! Yeah, she couldn't have jumped from that side. There's no water. Like, there's a landing on that side. You can only jump from this side. Wow, it really is lucky that Phoenix tried to run across that way and not the other way. Alright. We got our answer then. It's impossible to jump into the Eagle River from the inner temple side. No one knows that better than this witness. What did you say? 11 years ago, you jumped into the very same river. Just take a look at this overhead map. As you can see, below the cliff on the inner temple side is a big rock shelf. Oh. Oh! You're right. She wouldn't have reached the river if she had jumped off from there. In other words, if she had jumped, she should be able to see her body in this photo. You would? Yeah. Huh. So you finally figured it out. You. No. Order. You're just playing with me. Maya Faye's body is at the bottom of the Eagle River. There's nowhere else she could possibly be hiding. Miss Hawthorne, have you ever heard this one before? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Yes, just a few minutes ago. Maya Faye wasn't inside the sacred cavern. We know now that she didn't throw herself into the Eagle River. Correct. That eliminates all the most likely possibilities. Now, although it seems improbable, there's still one other place she could be. What? What is this one possibility you're talking about? That's obviously a bluff. So where's her dead body then? Finally, I think the pieces are falling into place. Normally, the living have no way to punish the dead. But I think there is a way to give Dahlia Hawthorne the ultimate punishment. Shall I tell you, Miss Hawthorne? Shall I tell you where Maya is this very instant? Maya Faye is in this very courtroom. I'm sticking with my guns. There's only one possibility left. Namely, she's right here in this very courtroom. What? Maya Faye's... You say she's here in my courtroom? Exactly. Dahlia Hawthorne. I seem to recall that you said, I had misunderstood one thing, you see. So what? But I think there's one more thing you misunderstood. What do you mean? Tell me something. At this very moment, who is channeling Dahlia Hawthorne? Why that's obvious. It's Pearl Faye, that pathetic little sniveling runt. You're wrong. Pearl's tried, but she couldn't do it. I've never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it's happened. Isn't there any explanation for why you couldn't channel a spirit? It could happen if someone else was already channeling the same spirit. Someone called me before Pearl did, but who? Pearl's even tried again on the day after the crime, but she couldn't do it. What could that mean? I think the truth is becoming clearer to you right about now, am I correct? Ah! There we go. It wasn't Pearls that channeled you. There was someone who called you before she could. And I know exactly who that is. Maya. This is an easy one. Pearls couldn't do it, and Misty Faye is gone. There's only one possibility left. Come on already? I can't stand the tension. Dahlia Hawthorne. The person channeling you right now must be Maya Fey. What? What? But how could that be? Remember what this witness, Dahlia Hawthorne, said about her goal? She said that her goal was to kill Maya Fey. Yes, that's right. But if Maya channeled the spirit of someone that was trying to kill her... Ha! Well, Gramps, what would happen? Could it be? It looks like you finally understand, Your Honor. Well, I don't. What are you going on about? What I'm going on about is the reason Maya channeled you, and there's only one reason. To protect herself from you. To protect herself? From me? Yes. On the night of the crime, you were only interested in one thing. Killing Maya Fey. The path back to Hazakura was closed off and there was nowhere for her to run. So then the problem began. Or became. Where would be the safest place to hide? You mean that's when she channeled me? All this time you thought you had been channeled by Pearls. That's why it never occurred to you that Maya's hiding place was you. No, don't say that. You're saying that Dahlia Hawthorne, was played a fool by that little whelp? Maya Fey killed herself. Isn't it obvious? Sorry, but no. It would have been impossible for her to jump into the Eagle River. This was the only avenue of escape open to Maya. The only way that Maya could disappear from the inner temple. I don't believe you. A stupid girl like that, who has never been out in the real world, she could never have come up with a plan like that. Who could have given her such a brilliant idea? Well, me, of course. Mia? Oh, Pearl's back. I was wondering where Pearl was. Mia Fey. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. So it's true. It was you. Yes. Ha. You're something else. But what? What are you doing here? That hair. It's Pearl's, right? Tell me something, Dahlia. I want you to think back to the night one more time. You had just cornered Maya in the inner temple's garden. And then, in her final moments of the fight, you lost consciousness. I was stabbed by Maya Fey. Actually, Maya lost consciousness at the same time as you. She did? Not terribly surprising, since she was to be killed. When she woke up, she was in the training hall. That's when Maya decided she needed help, so she channeled me. She explained in a memo the situation she was in. She asked me what I thought she should do. She did that? I can't believe it. Of course, I didn't have any of the details, but one thing was perfectly clear. And that was, I knew that you couldn't be allowed to wander free. Free? What do you mean? It was a race against time, so I wrote down 2 things that Maya had to do. Channel Dahlia Hawthorne as soon as possible, and lock herself in the sacred cavern until help arrived. So it was Maya who put that lock on there. Yes, but why did you order her to do those 2 things? If she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. Pearl. By one Pearl Fae. Pearls? Yes, Pearl didn't properly understand the plan. So all she was trying to do was follow her mother Morgan's Fae's instructions. If she had succeeded in channeling Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit, things would have turned out very badly, to put it mildly. So that's how it was. Dahlia Hawthorne would have used the body of Pearl Fae to kill Maya at all costs. Yes, it certainly sounds like that was the intent all along. How dare you? I won't forget this. Why not just admit it, Dahlia Hawthorne? Your little plan was nothing but a big failure. Yes, another failure to add to the pile of shame, wouldn't you say? What do you mean by another? Think about it, Dahlia. Remember all your past crimes? Not a single one of them was a success. They all ended in failure. What? How dare you? 11 years ago. The fake kidnapping, your first crime. You got your hands on a $2 million diamond, but... After Terry Flaws escaped and went to meet with Valerie Hawthorne, the truth was exposed. Shut your mouth. That wasn't my fault. Alright. Shut your mouth. That wasn't my fault. It was because of that stupid oaf of a prisoner and that weakling of a policewoman. And then, 1 year later, you tried to kill me. Well, I'm still alive, but... you wound up killing someone else. As a result, you were sentenced to death. It's one stupid move after another for you, but it's no longer funny. You wipe that smug, happy-go-lucky smile off your face. And now this. You've messed up again. You let Maya Fey escape. Even though she was right there in front of you. Mia Fey. You spinster. I was supposed to kill Maya Fey like I swore I would. And if only you had gotten the spiky-haired jerk the guilty verdict, I wouldn't have been hanged to death. True. But I think you finally understand, Dahlia Hawthorne. You will never defeat me. What? What did you say? Whether you're alive, dead, or somewhere in between, you will never defeat me. As long as I'm around, you're destined to lose for all of eternity. I remember what you said earlier in the trial. You said there was no way we could punish you, because you were already dead. What about it? When you said, even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. That's very true, Dahlia. And that's exactly the punishment you'll never be able to escape from. For all of eternity, you'll have to remain as Dahlia Hawthorne. A miserable, pathetic, weak creature who can never win at anything. And for you, there's no escape from that. No hope of freedom. Since the day you were executed, the narrow bridge that once stretched out in front of you has burnt to a crisp. You're wrong. It can't be. How could I lose to the likes of you? It no longer matters. The only thing I want is for you to come out of Maya's body right now. Oh my god. I'm not ready. Not ready to go. What's happening? What just happened? Did Maya just force her out? Now then, I assume you are the real Iris. Yes, I was just rescued from the Sacred Cavern. I must say, you and your twin sister are indeed identical, from what I can see. In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. Mr. Godot, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne? If you ask me, Your Honor, it looks like she went back to the hell she came from. It seems that Misty Fey wasn't the only victim of this crime. Maya Fey, as well as the young Pearl Fey, were also victims of this wicked and selfish plan. Yes, Your Honor. The tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to an end, it seems. Has it, though? I feel like it's never gonna end. It would be best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again. Oh, yeah, for sure. Nobody channel that spirit again. Your Honor. Yes, what is it? About this whole spirit medium thing. It's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now. Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me hard, not studying hard enough. That's why I made a concerted effort to study up on the crane channeling technique. Hey, isn't that the New Year's issue of Occult? I've seen quite a few things in my many years on the bench. And in all time, we've finally learned this one thing. Each case is different and takes place in its own world, if you will. In order to fully understand that world, first we have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I used to differ. Never thought of it that way. At any rate, it's time to pass judgment in the cast of Iris of Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
You're a little too fast with that gavel, Your Honor. What do you mean by that, Mr. Godot? This trial, it isn't over yet. That's what he means. What? Trite. Remember what Miss Evil Spirit said in her testimony? Huh? Dahlia's testimony? I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. I think I was stabbed. Just as the Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya. She was stabbed and killed by someone. Yes, that's right. The person that was ultimately killed was the spirit medium that channeled Dahlia. Elise Dexum. No, Misty Faye. But who killed her? We still don't know who did it. I guess we don't. See, I just want to assume it's Dahlia, but there's no definitive proof. This isn't over? Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. We can't let her walk until there is evidence that proves her innocence. No way. But this court isn't prepared for any further testimony. The prosecution is ready to call our final witness. Final witness? This one will clear up the whole mystery. The mystery of who killed Misty Faye. Indeed. Is it really alright, Mr. Prosecutor? Of course it's alright, Madam Attorney. Very well then. Who is the final witness? Ha! Isn't it obvious? There's one person who saw the entire event and will put the final dagger in this case. So, someone who saw the murder take place? The very person who saw her mother killed in front of her own eyes. Maya? You mean Maya? You can't. She can't testify after what she's been through. We need to find the truth. The prosecution calls Maya Faye to the witness stand. Poor Maya. Very well, but first, we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Miss Faye to recover before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's position, the doctor's permission, not position, we will proceed with the trial. Hey, Trey, I've got something to say to you, so listen up. What is it? I don't think much of you as a lawyer. It's always the same with you. You somehow manage to just squeak by without even a faint understanding of the case. Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last minute to save you. You've got some nerve. But that's not gonna happen this time. This time, you're going to have to do this by yourself. That's enough. This court is now in recess. I'm truly sorry about everything. You were working so hard to defend me. But I was missing all day, and we didn't even have a chance to talk. She's right. When I met Iris at the training hall yesterday, they had already switched places, and Iris was inside the sacred cavern. I wanted to at least be in the defendant's box today to root for you. Well, it wasn't your fault. You were locked up this whole time. There's something more important than that, though. I have to ask you. Why did you help your sister out as much as you did? Huh? If you had tried to get help at the sacred cavern yesterday, you wouldn't have spent an entire day locked up in there. My sister. I felt sorry for her. She was abandoned by our mother and never got any love from our father either. Yes, but it was the same for you too, wasn't it? Yes, but at least I had Sister Bikini, who was like a mother to me. If only Dahlia had come with me to Hazakura Temple. I always loved her. Dahlia was always so smart, so strong. She never complained about anything. That's why I promised that I would help her. Are you talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago? Yes. I wanted to be useful to her in some way. But as usual, I was too cowardly. At the last minute, I ran away. Because of that. Dahlia's stepsister, Valerie, ended up. That was the case that wounded Maya so badly. Or Mia. That was the case that wounded Mia so badly. But things didn't end there, of course. Some people suspected that my sister was involved in the murder. Some people? You must mean... Yes, 2 defense attorneys. Mia Fey and Diego Armando. After poisoning Mr. Armando, who was getting too close to learning the truth. Oh, that's what happened to Armando. I was wondering why he never showed up. I was almost thinking Godot was just Armando undercover or something at some points. Dahlia even tried to kill the person who had unknowingly hid the poison for her. You. That's right. Iris, there's one more thing that I have to ask you. Yes, what is it? On the night of the murder, the person that cleaned up the corpse of the victim, Elise Dexum, was it really you? Yes, it was me. That night, after I rang the lights out bell, I went back to my room. At around 10:30, I received the call on my cell phone. There's a problem. Come to the inner temple right away. I got on the snowmobile and headed for the inner temple. But the lightning, and the fire, and the bridge burning down. The path to the inner temple was cut off, right? Exactly. Ah! Such a high-pitched phone. Get a new ringtone. We can't just leave the body here. So you've got to do this exactly as I say. Got it. It was me. I was the one that received her body. The murder weapon had been left in her body so she wouldn't bleed out too much. The staff that Mystic Elise always held. I knew it. So the actual murder weapon was the staff. Yes, that's right. I brought the body back to Hazakura Temple on the snowmobile. But why? Why did you alter the body? I didn't want anyone to know that the staff was the murder weapon. I didn't want to leave anything that could lead back to Misty Faye. So I dressed her in a robe and stabbed her with the shitsu. I wiped the blood off the staff's blade and left it next to her on the ground. Iris, just tell me one last thing. Tell me the name of the person that called your cell phone. The real killer. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I can't do it. I can't say who did it. I see. Now, is she covering her sister? Or is she feeling bad for Maya, is the real question here. Victim staff has a sword hidden inside the actual weapon used to murder the victim. Defendant. Yes? The judge is calling you. He wants you to see you in his chambers. Interesting. He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne. Alright. Well then, I'll see you later. There's something I want to tell you. Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell me. So it's true. Iris cooperated with the real killer. Maybe even from the very beginning. Phoenix. Mia. Put those boobs away, lady. How's Maya doing? Physically, I'm not worried. She'll recover completely. But emotionally, she's been hurt very badly by this case. I see. You don't mean she's learned who Elise Dexam really was? Yes, I went to the medical office and talked with her. I told her everything I know. Also, it's not that she's showing her boobs off or anything, it's just that she's in Pearl's body right now, so it's very weird and it feels wrong. But why? Maya's stronger than you think. I knew she could take it, all of it. What do you mean by that? I want you to figure that answer out by yourself. The trial is about to restart. The real killer... Do you know who it is yet? Iris wouldn't tell me who called her, but still. I think that just maybe... I know who it was. That night, the victim was killed in the garden of the inner temple. And the criminal wasn't just there by chance. Which means... that the killer knew of Dahlia's plan from the very beginning. Yeah, I don't think it was Maya then. I don't know if it was Dahlia either. And one more thing. The victim was moved to the Hazakura temple side by pendulum. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means they were stuck in the inner temple side for almost an entire day. Exactly. So the culprit was someone that wasn't in the Hazakura temple the following day. Please don't tell me it was Pearl. That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is yours to win or lose. Okay, I've got it. Thank you, Mia. Finally, it's almost time to bring this case to an end. What exactly did Maya see anyway? And who was it that actually killed Misty Faye? Whoever it was, I have to prove it. Me, all by myself. And that's the end of part 2 of the trial. Alright, let's continue this case now. Hope you guys enjoyed the break and got all your snacks and everything. Let's get back to the trial. Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the tests we had performed earlier. Tests. Yes, tests. On the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree. Oh yeah, that. I totally forgot about it. I didn't forget about that. Not that I'm blaming Phoenix or anything, but I remembered. That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim. So what are the results? Was it the victim's blood, or? Due to the time constraints, a full test wasn't possible. However, there's one thing we can say for certainty. The blood that was on the dagger is not the victim's blood. Okay. That is all. Now then, let's restart the trial. So it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. Then whose was it? I'm positive it was Maya's at this point. Found stuck in the pine tree in inner temple garden. The blood doesn't match the victim's. I'm sure both the defense and prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims. I understand, Your Honor. From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking. So let's finish this quickly. Agreed. Man, I'm really worried about Maya. Like, I know she's safe now, but just hearing that she's physically weak and everything, like... Why can't we put this trial on hold just to take care of her for a little bit? Very well. Please bring in the last witness. Oh, she doesn't look as bad as I thought she did. Or she was going to. Still. Yeah. Witness, please tell us your name and profession. Maya Fey. My profession is, I'm the assistant manager at the Wright & Co. law offices. Maya. I'm actually just kind of happy to see her again. According to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium of the crane channeling technique? I'm frightened. The Fae clan, I don't want any more to do with it. Oh, Maya. The pain the Fae bloodline causes must be unbearable. Very well. Now then, Miss Fae. When the event occurred, you were in the garden of the Inner Temple, and you witnessed the moment of Miss Elise Dexam's murder. Is that correct? I didn't see anything. Straighten up this instant, young lady. Huh? Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. But Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out, and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now, excuse me, now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? Witness, if you please. Yes, Your Honor. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me." Then something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness. So you were struck on the head? I suppose it must have been the staff. Maya, the person who hit you. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was. Maya, think hard. Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't. Ha. Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone. It seems that it will be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination. Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. At the Inner Temple. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Who else was on the Inner Temple side that night? Well, Sister Bikini, of course. But I remember her saying that Iris would be coming later as well. On the day after the incident, Edgeworth met Bikini at Hazakura Temple. That means she couldn't be the criminal. So then, did Iris actually come later like she said? Well, let me think. She seems confused. It's probably because she's so tired. No, I'm sure I didn't see her. She must have come while I was prepping for the training. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. Who did it? Who hit you? Ah, well, I didn't see who it was. I was hit from behind. You didn't see the person? But after that, your attacker was in front of you. How could you not see who it was? Oh, let me think for a sec. I'm sorry, I just can't remember. Maya's really having a hard time. What should I do? See, normally I would press, but I feel bad for pressing. I'm gonna leave her alone for now. Considering the conditions at the crime scene, it's not surprising she didn't see her attacker. Ha! So it looks like even you've got some compassion. Judging by the testimony thus far, the identity of the attacker was most likely the spirit that was channeling by Lex Dexum, Dahlia Hawthorne. Very well, please continue with your testimony. What happened after you were struck on the head? I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me." You think you screamed, but you're not sure? Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, an adult, a child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits. Believe me, dear. I'm certain I would have soiled my robes. I thought this person might attack me, so I... Anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that was my last hope. Wow, it sounded like poor little Maya really was out of her mind. But I wonder what she meant by last hope. What do I do? Do I press her for more details? What did she scream? My last hope or wait and see? I'm gonna go with my last hope. Wait a minute, Maya. What's this my last hope stuff? What? What do you mean by your last hope? No. That's what you said. You said my last hope. Huh? What? I said what? Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see and you screamed, right? You screamed, "Help me." Yeah. But you testified that you screamed that because you thought it was your last hope. Oh, well, you know, that's like, what do you call it when that happens? Maya's not doing so well up there. Oh, yeah, Oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at. What did you just say? Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. There was someone behind the attacker? That's who I was screaming to help. For help. Who I was screaming to for help. Ah! What is it now? I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out. What do you mean you didn't mean to... What's going on? Huh? Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person? I am. Well, I meant to keep that part a secret. Nah. What have I done? Ha! Why is she trying to keep secrets from us? It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say. A ton of pressure. You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber. Exactly. Maya, just tell us the truth. Witness, the information you just presented is vital to this case. I want you to add it to your testimony. I couldn't see a man behind my attacker by the light of the stone lantern. But we were told that the stone lantern couldn't light. Yeah, was not lit the night of the crime. So there's a man standing behind your attacker? Yeah. That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Dexton, otherwise known as Misty Faye, your mother. The killer? Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? To be frank, Your Honor, I think she is in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with her testimony. Huh? What do you mean? What problem? Maya, on the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission. Huh? What? It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night. No. Order in the court. Mr. Godot, explain this. Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee. Stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of cafe a lot. Cafe au lait? Is that even legal? Mr. Tright's words are the milk and you are the spoon, Your Honor. I'm a spoon? I'm no spoony bard. I'll have you know. You must have noticed it too, Trite. This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that. Sorry, but that's not going to cut it. What did you say? If there's truly no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony. Nick, may I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. She said that she didn't know if it was a man or a woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker, and she quite clearly described him as a man. Ah! In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of her own attacker. No! Order. What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Faye saw the real killer under pitch black conditions?
Objection!
Trite, do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene. There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark. And now, you're trying to cover for him. Cover? For the man that killed her mother? There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is. Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you. Ha! You talk a good game, Trite, but let's see if you can walk the talk. It was pitch black, so what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff. No, Nick, don't. Please, stop. Maya's dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth. Alright, Mr. Wright, time to show us what you've got. Who was this person that you say Miss Faye saw in the darkness? Alright, look at people. Well, there isn't a whole lot of men on this list. There's Godot, which would make sense because you could probably see his visor in the dark. And he was a no-show the first day of the trial. And he still won't tell us why. Okay, I think that one makes the most sense. Because Gumshoe, no. Larry... Larry really wouldn't hurt a fly. And yeah, I don't think it was Miles Edgeworth. Could only be Godot then. He's the only person who has something that can be seen in the dark. And we didn't see him the next day. Because it was pitch black, Miss Fay was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see it for itself how this is possible, yes? What? But how do you propose to show us something like that? It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night. Conditions? Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. What? This is... But it can't be. Ha. Uh-huh. That was a nice bit of deduction. Trite. Just like I thought. Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. But how does he connect to this case is the real question. Order, order, order. Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it? Ha. Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person. What do you mean by that? If you've got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights? Well, witness, answer the question. You're wrong. I never saw that. Maya, why are you covering for him? Maya? I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man. For a totally different reason. What? Witness, Mr. Wright. Stop your chattering, Your Honor. Chattering? If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Alright. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please, tell us how you knew the killer was a man. Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but... Come on, it had to be Godot. Everyone else has an alibi. Every man has an alibi anyway. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit, and the body was gone. And all the snow around the snow lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. That's a bad assumption. A woman could easily do that as well. So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor. No need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godot said, you're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. I don't think she's as confused as she thinks. She thinks. Ah. I don't think she's as confused as everybody thinks she is. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the culprit was a man. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. The killer. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit and the body was gone. And all the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Since the person did all the work alone, I just assumed it was a man. Well, I'm definitely presenting this because, like, why? Like, that's not something only a man can do. It's not like there was even anything where anything that happened was all upper body strength. Because even though there's women with more upper body strength than men do tend to have more upper body strength, but there wasn't even a task like that. So, really. So you're saying that you never saw the killer, right? Yes. But earlier you said you clearly stated that you saw a man behind your attacker. Nick, I'm sorry. The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble. Moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene. But for what purpose? Why do all that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. I think I wanna press this next. The torches were lit. Yes, that's how I noticed that the whole scene had changed. I'm going to say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be? The killer probably lit them, since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body? That's true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was in the inter-temple, Maya. Very well. Let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene. And all the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Okay. So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow. It did look really odd. The snow was removed in an unnatural looking rectangle shaped around the lantern. There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple. But they're all really heavy, way too heavy for me to use. Oh, that's where the man comes in, I understand now. An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away? Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say a lot of the victims' blood sprayed into the snow? Oh! Okay, yeah, cover that up. The area I collapsed in ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation. Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it, there's no need to remove that amount. That's true. He could have scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood. Maybe it would look a little bit more suspicious if it was just a little bit of snow missing. But then it looks suspicious when there's a lot of snow missing too, so... I don't know. I don't know about that. It looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue. But I think this will help me... I think this will help explain them. Still, the person did all that work alone. I just assumed it was a man. Back to the garden place and totally changed. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with a crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something. You did? Yes, I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me. For my sake. Why would they do that? What? Hiding it for you? Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. If Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden, she may have thought you had done it. No, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened? Yes, I'm sure of it. Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. I think it was for my sake that the killer cleaned up the evidence of what had happened. It was for my sake. Well, if that was the case, then why is your name on the stone lantern? The body of Elise Dexnam was carried all the way to Hazakura Temple's courtyard. Then, at the garden, the real scene of the crime. The snow that we suspected was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that seems somewhat odd. Oh, and what would that be? You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. I am so glad that Gumshoe didn't wipe that off. He was really thinking about wiping that off. He even regretted not wiping it off once we found it. That would have been the end of us, for sure. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. Ah! If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't they wipe the writing off the lantern? Ah, you're right. Order, order, order. But Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene? Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to remove the body and remove the bloody snow. Then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing.
Objection!
But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all that snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? I don't know what the killer plan was, but it's the fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it. Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern? I am going to save here quickly. Alright. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern? The killer wrote it to pin the crime on Maya. The killer didn't notice it. The killer didn't notice it because Godot was looking at the lantern before and was like, "What writing? It's perfectly clean. What are you talking about?" And I still feel like he's the true killer. Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial, you gave me some good evidence. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be true. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise that fact, that a crime had occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that. You're right. There's no way any normal person would. What? What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether. And who would that be? Who is the person that could have failed to notice the bloody writing? Well, Mr. Godot, of course. He proved it earlier in the trial. Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday. Or not early in the trial, but earlier in the case. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot? This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented. This lantern. There's something written on it. Why? It's written in blood. Nonsense. This lantern? It's as clean as a whistle. Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? Maybe he can't see white at all because his visor's red and everything's red. That's right. We went through this once before. During the poisoning case at Tribulations. That is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time. And someone spilled coffee on it. There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? I didn't even pick up on that. Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-colored stain that smeared all over the apron. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. He's really in the wrong profession if he can't see bloodstains. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup because it was red. Ha. It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them? So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern? Hey, Gramps. Didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea. I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer, but there's no going back now. I've finally figured out the truth. But how and why? He sees white as red, and white blends in. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It's interesting how he sees red as white, though, because it's not like it's any color blindness or anything that does that. Or not that I know of, anyway. So maybe it's just the visor he's wearing. Does weird things like that. Mr. Godot, the defense is this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Elise Dextum, also known as Misty Faye. It's hard to believe this may be true, however. Once again, Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you. Ha. Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on, how does a little graffiti make you into the killer? Besides, it's not like it's my name that's written there. I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red. This is rich. Do go on, Trey. The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow. The snow? How so? Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Because he couldn't see the blood stain on the snow, so he removed the big area, so he wouldn't miss any of it. Your Honor, you said it yourself. If he wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not just take out that area? Yes, why did he take just that area? Ah, could it be? Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow, and so he had to remove all of the snow. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area. Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see just fine. It seems that once again, this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot? Explain it and don't put it on Maya anymore. What? Wait just a minute. Maya. What is it, witness? Mr. Godot isn't the killer. Why are you covering for him? I don't understand. After all, he didn't even come to the inner temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after the old bridge got fixed up. But why did he miss the first trial? Maya, you can't testify to something like that. Why? What do you mean? Eek! After the murder happened, you didn't even exist. She didn't... I'm afraid I don't follow. Are you senile, old man? We established this just a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, that's right. Please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me. Maya, do you plan to cover for Godot no matter what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her. Ha! Nicely done, Trite. Very well. Let's hear the witness's testimony. Please, tell us what happened at the Inner Temple after the murder. Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling, and my spirit left me, as it were. But little Pearlie was there at the Inner Temple, too. Do we need to put Pearl on the stand? That can be arranged. Pearl was also stuck on the Inner Temple side that night. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the Inner Temple for the first time. He found Pearlie first and cheered her right up. Who is this Pearlie? That's my little cousin, Pearl Faye. So, when did you hear about this? Oh, just a while ago, when I was in the medical office. I'm terribly sorry. But what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. What? Come on! Pearlie would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be. Real smart, Maya. You always know the best things to say when you're under oath. Ha! The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness. Mr. Godot. Let's just move on to the cross-examination. If the defense has no objections. This is highly unusual, but... Well, Mr. Wright. Let's get this cross-examination started. We'll play along for now. Pearlie was also stuck on the Inner Temple side that night. The next morning, she looked around and couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the Inner Temple for the first time. So it was your first time on the Inner Temple side, Mr. Godot. That's funny. Am I imagining things, or did the defense ask me a question? Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness. What you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor. Touché, Mr. Wright. Oh well. What do you have to say, Mr. Godot? Hot nights and even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If it hadn't have been for this case, I would never have visited here. A freezing cold temple in the mountains. I think I'll pass. So he had never visited Hazakura Temple, or the Inner Temple, huh? Ha! You want to say something, Trite? In any case, I have to find a crack in Godot's armor. Well, I cross-examine Maya, that is. Very well. Please go on with your testimony. After fixing the bridge, the policeman came over to the Inner Temple side, right? Yes, then Mr. Godot. He found Pearlie first and cheered her upright. Her right up. Alright. He cheered her up? That's what Pearlie said. She said he was a very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot. And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict. Ha! Cut it out. You're making me blush. This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves, in more ways than one. The truth is, there aren't that many places to look on the Inner Temple side. The policemen were all busy going over the garden with fine-toothed combs. So I decided to carry on an investigation in my own way, Godot style. I'm the same way. I like to hand down verdicts in my own way, judge style. Maybe I should ask some questions, Phoenix style. Let's question Godot's investigation. You said that you conducted an investigation on your own. Did you find anything? It looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, Wright. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern. Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles. The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall. Beauty? Misty Faye, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Could he find a stranger way to describe gravy? So, from there you headed for the prep room? Wait a second. What did Godot say now? I think I just found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing of importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? He must have already been at the inner temple when it happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed Elise Dexum. Pearl was also stuck. She looked around, couldn't find anything. The bridge was finally fixed. Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time. He found Pearly first and cheered her right up. Okay. I found Pearly first. Well, I don't know about... I really don't think it was his first time. So there must be a contradiction there. Well, he did talk about the gravy. Would that have happened before or after? Well, it would have happened after Pearl, but... I don't think there's anything else that he was talking about, though. I'm just gonna go for it. Mr. Godot, the first time you crossed Dusky Bridge and went into the inner temple was long before the murder took place. Why do you say that? Because you just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall. Hanging scroll? But... Mr. Godot is right. That scroll shows a picture of my mother. But he wouldn't have known that because it's covered in gravy. There we go. Maya, I know you know who it is, but here's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired, 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this. What's that wonderfully delicious smell? The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy. Gravy? But why gravy, Nick? Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have any way of knowing that it was Misty Faye. Wait a minute, Nick. Yes? Take another look at that hanging scroll. Look at the top. There's a crest there. Ah, that. It's the mark of the master, correct? Exactly. So if you know the meaning of the mark, then you could guess that the picture of Misty Faye on there. True, but Mr. Godot described what was underneath like this. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Oh. Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known that she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the inner temple long before the crime took place. Can I ask you just one thing, Trite? What is it? This whole theory of yours, it all rests on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand that a crime was going to be committed. That's right. Otherwise, there's no reason for him to sneak onto the crime scene. Of course, Mr. Godot knew about the plan. Huh? What did you say? Is it really possible that another person knew about that plan? Well, it's definitely possible. The letter was opened before Pearl got to it. Be careful, once night falls, should be there. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. Leave everything up to her. Her name is... She is the whole... Here is a picture of her. Use it. When you're channeling her. I know you can do it. Once this is... Burn the... Also tell anyone about this letter. Gravely roast the master in the fires of Hades and bring our vengeance to fruition. He must have found the note earlier on. I don't know how or why, but he must have found it. This crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fay authored the plan for her daughter's future. And these instructions were hidden somewhere in the Fey Manor for a year. However, by the time little Pearls found these instructions, they had already been unsealed. Unsealed? Yes, the killer had read these instructions long before Pearls ever found them. That's how he knew the crime was to take place at the Inner Temple. And you still insist this crafty killer is me? You bet I do. But you just said that the instructions were hidden. That's right. Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden. If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out. Yes, and what was that? During a visit. A visit? Morgan Fay told her daughter Pearl about where the instructions were hidden. During one of her visits to the detention center. That would have been the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden. Eavesdropping on a visit at a detention center? Yes, it could be arranged if you were someone with easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, a prosecutor, such as Mr. Godot. Order, order, order. Mr. Godot, you're under fire again. This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge. And you were the only one that could have acquired this information before the murder. Humans are afraid of the dark, and yet, at the same time, we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness, that is coffee. Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean? It means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer is, in this case, eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he learned of a hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plans, we hid in the inner temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all of that just to protect this witness. That's right. If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her. I'm what you see. I'm certainly not the type to rescue a damsel in distress. The killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for lack of a better word. Even considering that the killer wanted to protect this witness's life, this behavior is still a little too unnatural. However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godot? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs. I knew it. You've figured it out, haven't you, Nick? Maya. I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godot. For the same reason, huh? Okay, Trite, I'm all ears. Let's hear it. It's very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you. What's this? There's one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. One person that ties you and Maya Fey together inextricably? I'm not quite sure what that word is, but I'm guessing it's almost like undeniably or something like that. Maybe extra undeniable? I don't know. But, yeah. Maybe my theory of him and the other attorney that looked like him, maybe they really are connected somehow. And if they're connected, then everything's connected to Mia. There's a very good reason why Maya Fey's life is so precious to you. After all, she is Maya Fey's only sister. Oh, we lost connection. Okay, we're back. I don't know where that cut out. Oh, inextricably. Inextricably. And thank you for the thank you for the lesson. I don't know where the stream cut out, but what we found out is Godot is the same person as Armando, and I knew it. I knew it this whole time. I was suspicious from the moment I saw Armando. It was over 6 years ago. Diego Armando. That name rings a bell. It should, Your Honor. All of this is related to a single case. A case in which a convict named Terry Flaws killed himself. Mia Fey's first time in court. The tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew that behind it all was a heartless, scheming, demonless disguise. But in the end, Mia couldn't tear off that disguise. However, there was one man who reached out to help her. Diego Armando, a senior defense attorney at the office where Mia worked. It's all my fault. It's all my fault that Mr. Flaws killed himself. Mia, you can't cry yet. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. I was moved by her. The way she put all her faith in her clients, that pure, sweet heart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Mia and I thoroughly investigated that fake kidnapping incident. That one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It had been 6 months since the trial. She met in the courthouse cafeteria. Ah, I just remembered. 6 years ago, right here in this courthouse, you were poisoned. Even I didn't see it coming. Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee. Some newspapers at the time called it a murder. But very little information about the case was released to the press. But you weren't dead at all. No, official reports ever actually called it a murder. I was just in a deep, deep coma. I see. My body shut down, and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. That woman's poison did a real number on my central nervous system. I lost my sight, and all of my hair turned white due to the damage it caused. That's terrible. Apparently, it was a miracle that I ever regained consciousness. 5 years has passed since I drank that poison brew. Then, one morning, my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee. 5 years? You were asleep for 5 years? And the worst possible news was waiting for me. That Mia was dead. Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I had already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered, and the woman I loathed had been sentenced to death. The woman you loathed. The woman who had spiked my scalding hot coffee, Dahlia Hawthorne. Ha! Good old Mia. She didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up. That's so sad. For some reason like me, for someone who had slept away their best days, there were only 2 reasons left to live. And it was for those 2 reasons that I decided to become a prosecutor. If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons to live? The first was you, Wright. Huh? Me? If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey never would have died, much less the way she did. You were the only one who was there to protect her. But you let her die. It was all your fault. Again, it was not Phoenix's fault. He did what he could have. He didn't know any of this was happening. It wasn't like that. I wanted to see for myself what kind of man you really were. So that's why you became a prosecutor. In my other reason for living, she goes by the name of Mia Fey. Huh? You mean me? You were the only way I could make up for the sin of not saving Mia. 1 year ago, when the Crane Village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fay was planning something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her. That's how you overhear Pearl's visits to Morgan at the detention center. I knew that the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal was to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep that girl from being caught up in it. That makes sense? If Pearls had known that the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she never would have helped out. Finally, the day of the plan was drawing near. I contacted both of my accomplices. Accomplices? Iris of Hazakura Temple and Misty Fay. I especially needed the help of Iris. She was to take the fall in my backup plan in case we couldn't control Pearl Fay. But, how did you contact my mother? And what do you mean, control Pearl Fay? All you had to do was say that the purpose of the plan was to kill Maya. Then again, I guess there was the chance of her not believing it. She had been missing for almost 20 years. Officially, yes. What? What do you mean, officially? You've heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government? Now that you mention it, Bikini didn't say something to that effect. She said the master of Kurain had great authority. Even without her official position, Misty Fay still wielded great influence. The police have been keeping an eye on her movements all this time. That's how I was able to contact her. Again, because of my position as a prosecutor. So my mother was cooperating with you. Don't ever forget, no matter how far away from you she is, she never stopped thinking about you. She was always... That's why I knew she would do anything to protect you. If you want to know how strong her resolve to protect you was, look at her staff. Her staff, the one with the sword in it? The day the plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough. We met for the first time in Hazakura Temple. That's when your mother showed me her special staff. I realized it then, just how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fay, if necessary. Yes, even if it meant paying the ultimate price. Mother! That night, the night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan's evil plan. You mean Pearl's, don't you? We had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne. Well, Pearl, what are you going to do tonight? Well, if you'd like, you can come to my room. Perhaps we can read some books together. We thought we could prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan, but she never showed up. She was worried and followed me to the inner temple. That was the thing we were most afraid of, and that's why Misty Fay had to do the channeling herself. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne with her own body. What? What do you mean? If she channeled the spirit first, then Pearls wouldn't be able to do it herself. As Master of the Kurain, Misty Fay's power was supreme. So that's how it went down. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne so that Pearl Faye wouldn't be able to. What? Is this true? My role in the plan was to make sure no one was going to hurt Maya Faye. That's why I hid myself at the inner temple, just in case you needed to be saved from Dahlia Hawthorne. Godot. Anyway, that's all I'm going to admit to, Tripe. So that's why you had to kill her mother. You were just trying to save Maya. Huh? There's no doubt about it. You're a great defense attorney. But you're going to have to do the rest yourself. The background leading up to this incident has been laid bare. There's just one question remaining, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There are only two possible suspects right now. Maya Faye? And I'm sad to say, you, Mr. Godot. Well, it was obviously Godot, right? Well, Trey, if you're the real deal, then finish this thing once and for all. Show us beyond a shadow of doubt you can finish this on your own. No, Nick, please don't. Maya, I heard the whole thing from my sister in the medical office. That's why I have to protect Mr. Godot. I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put his life on the line to protect Mia, and me too. Maya, I know that. Nick. But even so, it doesn't absolve him of his crime. Please, Maya, testify. Miss Faye, your testimony, please. This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything, because I'll know. I want to hear the truth from your own lips. I understand. I'm sure you're right. I'm ready now, Nick. Alright, young lady. Tell us about the moments before you lost consciousness. What exactly happened at the time of the murder? Almost at the end. Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights. 3 of them. Okay, she's finally telling the truth now. Good. I thought I'd ask for help, but just then I was splattered with blood. She wasn't dead though, and she struck me back at the enemy behind her. Suddenly, the red lights went out, and the whole area was dark. Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream. Right after that, Dahlia collapsed, and I lost consciousness. Horrible scream. These red lights, I thought you said you don't remember seeing them. I'm sorry. I thought I saw them, but then they disappeared all of a sudden. Ha, things break, right? Even the best of theories. Who was it that stabbed Misty Faye? It looks like you still can't prove it. Maya's telling the truth this time, I know it. The rest is up to me. Well then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your final cross-examination of the witness. Will do. The time of the murder. Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights, 3 of them. I thought I'd ask for help, but then I was just splattered with blood. She wasn't dead though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. Suddenly, the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream. This piques my interest the most, because who screamed? What do you mean by just at that moment? Do you mean the moment when the red lights went out? Yes, that's right. The scream that you heard then. Was it Dahlia Hawthorne? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was a man's voice. It was Godot? What? So then that scream came from the killer? That's gotta be it. I think Dahlia Hawthorne must have taken the blade and attacked the killer with it. But then the killer let out a scream of pain, huh? After that, the killer stole the blade back and delivered the final blow, I guess. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems to make sense to me. It sounds like a reasonable deduction, but I still wonder. There has to be a contradiction. I'm sorry to say this, but that interpretation would create an enormous contradiction. That makes sense. After all, my deductions are almost certain never correct. Remember, the testimony she just gave, before the killer let out a scream. Maya said she already had been splattered by the victim's blood. In other words, the blade and the staff had already been plunged into the victim. Ah, is that right? She couldn't have struck back with the sword that was already stuck in her body. The weapon that caused the killer to let out a scream must have been something other than the staff. If you're so sure about that, then don't keep us waiting any longer, Trite. There's only one thing I can think of that could have been used as the weapon here. If Dahlia Hawthorne had already been stabbed in the back by the staff, what could she have used to strike back at the killer? Strike back at the killer. Well, she had that knife. Naturally, the dagger the killer brought to the scene of the crime. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. This dagger was found at the scene of the crime, stuck into a pine tree. Yes, the detective found that this morning and brought it to me. Which I'm very proud of Detective Gumshoe for. Dahlia Hawthorne struck back at the killer with this. And she managed to wound him as well. Just because he let out a scream doesn't mean that he was wounded. For all we know, the blood on the dagger could have been from the victim. Have you forgotten that the blood has already been tested? Since we learned it wasn't the victim's blood, it must have been the killer's blood. The killer must have a wound somewhere on his body. But where? So you're saying the blood on this dagger belongs to the killer? Exactly. A DNA analysis of the blood should prove it beyond a shadow of the doubt. And yes, Mr. Godot, it would prove that it's your blood. Nice theory, Trite. Order in the court. Is this the end? Have I done it? Even he won't be able to change the results of a scientific test. Ha. Let me ask you something, Trite. Let's just say it turned out that I was the killer. Do you really think I would be stupid enough to leave evidence like that? What? Just think for a second. This dagger was found this morning by a detective and brought to me. There was already blood on it, correct? But even so, I was the one who brought this dagger here to the courtroom. Yes, what does that prove? It proves if he was a real killer, he would have hid it and not brought it to the courtroom. Well, if I really were the killer, I would have washed the blade off and then planted another person's blood on it. It can't be. In any case, there's one thing I can guarantee, right? That blood, it doesn't belong to me. Not a chance. Interesting. In any event, it seems to be established that the killer was wounded. Alright then, witness, continue your testimony. Wait a minute. What's the problem? I know I probably shouldn't say this, but there's a big contradiction in Nick's explanation. Maya? This dagger, you said that it wounded the killer. That's right. But, if Mr. Godot had really been cut with the dagger, his clothes should be bloody and have a rip in them, right? Maya, maybe he just changed his clothes? That solved the contradiction pretty easily. What are you talking about? It's not that simple at all. Remember, back to the day of the murder? Everyone that was on the inner temple side got trapped there. Ah, that's right. And once the bridge was fixed and the police headed for the inner temple, Mr. Godot was already there, waiting for them. He never had a chance to change his clothes. Ack! I see. Well, that's a problem. Well, maybe he brought a change of clothes with him. But no one could have predicted the lightning strike that shut down the bridge. Why would anyone have brought a change of clothes? You make a good point. Did the judge take smart pills during the last recess? Well then, maybe the killer took off his clothes before he committed the murder. That way he wouldn't get any blood on him.
Objection.
That's impossible, right? You know how cold it gets up there late at night? After a few minutes with no clothes on, you'd be frozen solid. Ah! This isn't looking good. Ha! So that's all you got. I knew you weren't tough enough to finish this. Irk. Right now, if Mia Fey were here, she would have closed the book on this case already. If Mia Fey were here. So come on, Trite. Can you do it or not? How about it, Mr. Wright? You've accused Mr. Godot of being the killer. But can you prove it? Have you got even one piece of evidence? The question isn't whether I can prove it or not. The fact is, I have to prove it. That's the only choice I have. I was taught that it's one of the rules of being a lawyer. I can prove it. I'm going to bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition, just as you want it. Ha, that's good. A fighter till the bitter end, right? Since there's just one piece of evidence that can prove your point, why don't we go for the ultimate penalty? I am saving right now, then. Thank you for the warning. Okay. Alright, I'm ready. Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godot? Because it doesn't matter to me. I've got the one piece of evidence I need. Give me a break. You've got nothing, Trite. So, what do I do at a time like this? It's simple. I've got to think outside the box and approach this from a different angle. Okay. Outside the box thinking. Alright then, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you got. Here's one thing I've demonstrated in the previous cross-examination. The killer was wounded. That was proven by the blood on the dagger. But, we've decided it's impossible for him to have hidden such a wound. If he had been cut by a dagger, there should be a bloodstain on his clothing. There's one place. One place the killer could have hidden his wound. What did you say? Hidden? This is it. My last stand. I need to think about this from a different angle. I don't need to think about why there were no bloodstains on his clothing. I need to show how he hid the wound. Okay. It's the end of the line, the final stop, Trite. Let's hear what you've got. Where's the location where you say the killer hid his wound? Where's the location? Oh boy. Where's the location? Well, that doesn't make any sense. What would be on his person? You know what? I saved. I'm going for it. I don't know what you're talking about. And frankly, I don't need to know. What I do know is that you'll never be half the lawyer she was. Isn't that right, Trite? What was that just now? Mia? It can't be. You're living on through him? Even as we speak, you're still hiding the wound. It's beneath your mask. Oh yeah, because the lights went out. That makes so much sense. During the fight, the red lights given off by the killer suddenly disappeared. Seconds later, the killer let out a scream. That's right, your mask went flying off your face. Mr. Godot, would you mind removing your mask? If you have a dagger wound under there somewhere, then I'd say this whole case is solved. Alright, let us have it. Come on. Ah! Come on, show us what's under the mask. I'm ready. Unmask yourself. Not yet. Okay. Just now. I saw her spirit in you. I never liked you. 6 years ago. You helped that woman who put me to sleep by hiding her bottle of poison. Unknowingly. And then, while I was sleeping, you let Mia die. Because he didn't know what was happening. He didn't know he needed to protect her. But you didn't care. You just kept living your pathetic happy-go-lucky life. Well, what was he meant to do? If something bad happens in your life, then what are you meant to do but keep on living? You ever had the nerve to follow in her footsteps as a lawyer? Or you even had a nerve. I could never forgive you. That's what I thought. Mr. Godot. But I was wrong about you. I knew it from the very beginning. The truth is, the only person I could never find it in my heart to forgive was yourself. Was me. Mm-hmm. You yourself? I was the one that failed to protect Mia. Me and no one else. Exactly, so stop blaming Phoenix. I tried to avert my eyes from the truth, to escape from the harshness of reality. I just couldn't face Mia's death head on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask. I threw away my true name. I couldn't even deal with being a defense attorney anymore, so I quit. But you saved Maya. Yeah, that was my plan. Up until just now, anyway. What do you mean? Are you listening, Maya? If I had really wanted to save you, then there's one person that I should have gone and talked to right away. Who would that be? Are you talking about Nick? No, Maya. He's talking about Pearl. But I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother. But I closed my eyes to the most important man involved. Do you know why? The real person? No, why? I suppose I wasn't really interested in saving you at all. Huh? I think I was just trying to salvage what's left of my own broken soul. I was trying to make up for the fact that I couldn't save Mia. Nothing more. That's why I let you walk right into a situation that I knew was dangerous. Forgive me. You're wrong. You put your life on the line to save Maya. Was it really for Maya's sake? Even I'm not really sure. What do you mean by that? That night in the darkness of the garden when I saw her silhouette. A part of me must have known the truth. The truth that it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing there in front of me. It could have been Misty Faye, or even that little girl. But I still picked up the blade. It was like I was dreaming. I'm not sure exactly what was on my mind at that point. Was I really motivated by the pure desire to protect Maya Faye? Or was it something else? Was it my hatred for a woman who had stolen everything from me 6 years earlier? Could it have been simply a desire for revenge? That's more likely, I think. And now, I don't even know anything anymore. I did learn something today, however. I finally realized that I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy. The stupid fantasy of defeating you in the courtroom. Just like every other prosecutor that Phoenix meets for some weird reason. You were the one who made me finally realize my folly. You never ran away from Mia's death. Instead, you picked up where she left off, as a true defender of the people. Exactly. Glad you can finally see that. In that moment, I understood everything. Mr. Godot. I think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando. Mr. Armando, I believe in you. I know you were trying to save me. Oh, and there's the blood. Thanks. Your wound, it's bleeding. Ha, did you forget already? In my world, the color red doesn't exist. These must be my tears. Sorry to say, but that's blood. Tears? Ever since I woke up from my coma. I think I've been waiting for this moment. Mr. Armando. You've done well to remember this, Maya. The one time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. And it's all over. It's finally all done. This time, it really is all over, isn't it? Defendant. Yes, Your Honor. Although you weren't directly involved in the murder, you tampered with the body and the crime scene is a serious offense in itself. I understand, Your Honor. Mr. Armando explained that to me very carefully. I knew the risk and I willingly cooperated anyway. Very well. Before I hand it down my verdict, is there anything you'd like to say? Well, there is one thing. I'd like to say something to Mr. Wright. I want to apologize to you. Apologize? To me? For what? For the case 5 years ago. Of course. Well, you hardly knew each other. Huh? What do you mean? You and my sister. You only met twice. Huh? We only met twice? The first time you met was on that fateful day. The day she poisoned Mr. Armando in the cafeteria of this very courthouse. The next day you met her was 8 months later. You met her again on the day that she stole your cold medicine. And Doug Swallow was killed. No way! It can't be true. I mean, during our whole relationship, we were... For those 8 months, the woman that you thought was Delilah Hawthorne wasn't actually my sister. It was you, wasn't it? Huh? It wasn't It wasn't Dahlia? I hope one day you can forgive me, Feeny. You mean... That's right. I lied to you. For 8 months. But why? Why would you do such a thing? Ever since she gave you the bottle that day, my sister was trying to get it back as soon as she possibly could. Because of the police investigation and their surveillance, she couldn't move about freely. So that's why my sister, from the beginning, she was prepared for the worst. Prepared for the worst. She thought that you might somehow discover the truth. That's why she always ready to deal with you at a moment's notice. You mean she was ready to kill me, don't you? She already had so much to answer for. I didn't want any more sins on her soul. I begged her not to do it, and she agreed to give me a chance. And that's why you came to me. You came to get the bottle pendant back from me in her place. But I couldn't get it. I couldn't get you to give it back. I failed at something even as simple as that. 8 months passed, and I still couldn't get it back from you. Finally, my sister couldn't wait any longer. She didn't consult me about her plans for you that day. It was the first time that had ever happened. That was a bit strange, wasn't it? Up until that day, you two were partners in crime, and she would confer to you. I think she must have noticed. Noticed what? My feelings for you. If I had found out she was planning to kill you, I would have done whatever was necessary to stop her. Even if it meant her life. Or mine. Iris likes Phoenix. Iris? After spending those 8 months by your side, my feelings towards you, they changed. I had something to say to you too. Yes? You really are the person I always thought you were. Even after Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, I still believed in you. Thank you. How many cups of darkness have I drank over the years? Even I don't know. I'll tell you though. Right now, this one here is the greatest cup I think I've ever had. Don't you think so, Phoenix Wright? Aw, he's sharing his coffee with him now. Yeah, I think you're right. The purpose of this trial was to rule the murder of the victim, Elise Dexnam. At some point, I expect you will be tired. Excuse me? I expect you will be tried for your role as an accomplice in this case. I understand, Your Honor. Very well. On the charge of murder, I hereby find the defendant not guilty. Yay! Court is now adjourned. Final case is finally all wrapped up. So, I guess it's all over. The way everything ended, was justice really served? Honestly, it was a huge mess of a case. The man who risked his life to save Maya was being sent to prison by my own hand. Of course, justice was served. Mia! I'm proud of you, Phoenix. Your defense was truly brilliant. But I couldn't save Mr. Armando, the man who cared so deeply for you. You're wrong, Phoenix. You did save Diego. You saved him from the only way possible. In the only way possible. You mean with that verdict? I think one day you'll understand too. Phoenix, I want you to remember one thing. You were as good out there today as any defense attorney could ever hope to be. There's nothing more you can learn from me. Mia! You've accomplished something I wasn't able to. I owe you a great deal. Thank you. Mia. I'm sure we'll meet again. Someday, Phoenix. Goodbye. I've handled lots of cases and seen a lot of things. And although this journey, I've found myself asking just one question. What does it really mean to defend someone? I suppose today's case produced one possible answer. Nick. Maya. I guess it's just like my sis said. Mia? What did she say? That night, when I channeled Mia to get her advice on what to do, this is what she wrote back in my notebook. Don't worry. Phoenix will save everyone in the end. But, come on. Cut it out with that gloomy face. Can't you see? Me, sis, and I'm sure Iris too. We owe you for everything you have done for us, Nick. Maya, how can you be so bright and chipper after all that's happened? You were brutally attacked. You even saw your mother murdered. Youch. Francesca. I was actually kind of wondering where she was. Still a softie as always, Phoenix, right? Hey, Edgeworth. Excellent work, right? Huh? Mr. Edgeworth? When did you get back? Oh, that's right. I guess no one filed her in on that. No one filled her in on that. Edgeworth and Francesca have actually been helping me. Helping you? If these two hadn't been there on the first day of the trial, the defense wouldn't have gotten anywhere. Wow. But where were you, Nick? I heard he fell into a river and caught a nasty cold, which forced him to sleep all day. Yes, he laid in bed shriveling from his fever, with Iris's hood pulled over his head. Oh, ouch. Talk about embarrassing, Nick. You definitely need more training. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Edgeworth, and thank you too, Francesca. I don't suppose there's room for me in this group hug, is there? Not gonna lie, I was kinda expecting Gumshoe and not Larry, but you know what? Sure, bring it in, buddy. Oh, Larry. What's with the longer than usual face? I realized something when I was reborn. I realized that Larry was never of any use to anyone, not even once. That's not true, right, Nick? What? You're asking me? Well, Nick, is it true? I've got a place in this world, right? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I knew it. Everyone would be better off if I had gone for good. No, oh yeah. These portraits you painted, they were really good. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? What? Me? Why are you making that face, huh, Edgy? Oh, well, yes, indeed. I certainly can't say that they lack resemblance. Do you really mean it? What about you, Francie? Did I draw you well, too? Why? My beauty can't possibly be captured by a mere crayon. Nevertheless, I recognize the effort you put into it, and it's worth something. To be honest, I can't understand it either. Francesca? That's right. She lost her father fairly recently as well. I think I understand how she feels. Maya's much wiser person than she appears, and I think she realizes something. Now is exactly the time when she needs to be as strong as she can. What do you mean by now is exactly the time? Maya wasn't the only one that was badly wounded by this incident. In fact, there was someone that was hurt far more deeply than she. I believe it's for that person that Maya is trying her best not to cry. Someone who is hurt more deeply than Maya? Edgeworth. I think I'm starting to understand too. Ow! Then tell me, Phoenix Wright. Who is Maya Fey being strong for? For Pearl, of course. Pearl Fey? The poor kid, after all, the reason that she worked so hard to follow the instructions was because she loved and believed in her mother Morgan. It's for the good of the Faith clan. I'm sure she believed in every last word. She thought she was doing it for Maya. That's why she was so happy. It shows how truly devoted she is to Maya. But it's a cruel irony that it was her exuberance that led to this tragedy. Exuberance? Maya Faye's mother was killed, and Maya herself was put into the deepest peril imaginable. And that's exactly why Maya is putting on brave face. She's doing it for Pearl's sake. Until she can see her smile again. Oh hey, is this where you all were? Wow, looks like I've got quite a bunch. Yow! What was that for, sir? Sorry about that, Scruffy. My whip just seems to have a mind of its own. What's up, Detective Gumshoe? Oh, you know, this and that. Anyway, congrats on your win. Let's go out tonight, pal. Dinner on me. Are you sure you can afford it? My salary's just sorta kinda gone down by a teeny weeny bit, but it's alright. I made reservations at a first-class French restaurant tonight. Oh, please don't tell me it's that French restaurant. Ah! Pretty good work, Scruffy. That whip was your That whip was your reward. That whip was your reward. There we go. Detective Gumshoe? You said a first-class French restaurant. You don't mean... Très bien. Where else? No! I thought I escaped Très bien. Get me out of here. I knew it. We're doomed. Come on, let's go, everyone. Can't keep Maggie waiting, pal. Oh, he just wants to see Maggie. Of course he does. Hey, you, Crybaby, you're invited too. Oh, forget about me. Pearl and I will be at the loser's shack eating potatoes. You know, Maya's taking an awfully long time to get back. She's still out looking for pearls. Oh, Maya, what's wrong? Nick, what do I do? Pearly, I can't find her anywhere. Huh? I'll bet she just went back home. That's all. Are we sure? I thought so too, so I called the village. But no one has heard from her. This has never happened before. As I figured, she has been badly hurt by this incident. She feels responsible for the tragedy that has befallen you, Maya. But none of this was her fault. What should I do? Detective Gumshoe? Yeah, what is it, pal? Could you guys go on ahead? But what about you? Maya and I we'll join you guys once we find pearls. Nick! Don't worry about us, Detective Gumshoe. We may be a little late, but we'll definitely be there. We have a lot of celebrating to do tonight, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. Yeah, and you're the... Very well, Phoenix Wright. We'll go on ahead. Don't keep us waiting, right? We won't. But where should we look? Where could Pearly have gone? Let's go, Maya. There's only one place I can think of that pearls might have gone to. And where is that? Oh, back here. Interesting, because I thought there was a few places that came to mind. Like the office, or the loser's shack, or... Well, home was already crossed off the list, so... Has occur a temple? For pearls, I bet this is a very important place. After all, it's where this whole incident started. What's this? You're all back again so soon? Sister Bikini. I thought we'd be eating mashed potatoes alone tonight. So, so she's here? Pearly is here? She's in the training hall. Why don't you hurry along and go see her? Okay. Pearl's not here. Ah, Maya, the hanging scroll. Ah? Oh, it's fixed. Someone cleaned it off. It's gotta be Pearl's. Ah! Mystic Maya. Pearly. Why did you just leave like that? Mystic Maya. Mystic Maya. I swore that I would never trouble the two of you ever again. Because it's all my fault that Mystic Maya's mother. That's why you came here. It's the least I could do, to pray for your happiness. You don't have to do that, Pearly. It wasn't your fault. You didn't know anything. You didn't do anything wrong. Of course I'm sad that my mother is gone. But how do I say this? I'm still happy. You don't have to lie just to make me feel better. No, really. It's true. The only reason I'm still here at all is thanks to everyone who was there for me. My sis, my mother, Mr. Armando, Nick, and you. If even one of you weren't there, I'm sure I wouldn't still be alive right now. That's why I have to be strong. For all the people that were there for me when I needed them. That's all I can really do. Mystic Maya. I'm impressed. You truly are the daughter of Mystic Misty. Sister Bikini. Your mother, Mystic Misty, was a strong woman indeed. I want to tell you what she said to me that night. After dishonoring the good name of Karain, I don't have the right to face my daughter. But still, Maya's always in my thoughts. It's true. She'll always be with me until the day I die. Your spirit was with her. That's why your mother was so strong. Even at the end, I'm sure she had no regrets. She'll always be with me until the day I die, huh? There's a rule or something all masters are to follow, isn't there? To never take the charm off until the day you die? That's the master's talisman. The thing that Misty kept by her heart and would never take off. It wasn't the container that was important, rather, it wasn't the contents. That's a photo. Ah! Is it a family photo? Mother. It's only natural for living creatures to fight to protect their own lives. But what makes us human is what we fight for others. Is that we fight for others. But who do you fight for? How hard must you fight? That's the real measure of what human life is worth. My defense attorneys are warriors who are constantly challenged by that question. Oh, Maya broke that as well. The only difference is Pearl didn't have an older sister to help her fix it. Even when the battle is over, the bonds that connect us are severed. That's so cute. We always return time and time again.
Mia, Maya, Pearls, Mr. Armando, and Maya's mother too. I learned that from all of them. Well, shall we get going? Everyone is waiting. Ah, this is a day to remember. A day when a lot of things were finally put to rest. I think we should celebrate what we've overcome today. But I still can't. Oh, go on, sweetie. You can come back for training anytime. Okay. Alright. I'm going to make a brand new start too. Sister Bikini, I'll be back for more training, I promise. I know, and I won't go easy on you just because you're the future master. I'll make sure to prepare reservations for 3 for when you come back. Waha ho ho ho, hee hee hee. Alright. We're going to make a great feast today, Pearly. You know why? Because training is a battle of endurance. Okay, Mystic Maya, I'll eat lots and lots of food tonight. You know, there's one thing I don't get, and probably don't want to, but... What is it, Nick? Reservations for training is fine and all, but why for 3? Come on, what do you think? You're one of us, Nick. Next time you can train right alongside us, right? Alongside us, yeah. Huh? I'll be waiting for you. Sister Bikini will take special care of you. Huh? Huh? It'll be great, Nick. We're going to do the special course, naturally. Huh? 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 That's a great idea after all, Mr. Nick. You'd do anything for Mystic Maya, won't you? Even walk on hot coals, right? Oh my god. Pearl, can you please stop shipping them? And also stop trying to drag Phoenix to the training. He's not like you guys. He's not a spirit medium. He does not need training. We'll have a nice big meal before we come next time, right, Nick? You know, I was wondering if I can say just one little thing. Sure, of course you can. Oh, I love this part. I can't wait to hear it. I'm getting goosebumps too. Well then, here goes nothing. Perfect way to end it. Perfect ending. I'll really have to work extra hard now. Master of Crane and the office manager of Wright & Co. Law Offices, and I have to be a good big sister to Pearly and Nick too. Well, as long as I'm not locked up or captured or something like that. Yeah, can you stop getting captured or locked up or something like that? So it's true, Mr. Nick really is Mystic Maya's knight in shining armor. I went through with the special course all the way to the end. Actually, I heard there's a legendary extra special course. I think I'll surprise the 2 of them by making them a secret reservation. Please don't. I hope Pearl learns at some point to stop shipping people you know together. Maggie brought me a brand new coat. I feel 10 years younger. I'll never take it off. Yes, but somehow you just don't seem the same. I guess a dirty, shabby old coat is just more detective-like, sir. Don't worry about it. In the name of love, a man will soil himself silly. He'll fix the coat. Thanks to you, the treasures of Crane exhibit were a great success. Von Karma, who I haven't seen for a year, she taught me how to use a whip and said that I must show you what I've learned. Can you maybe not? I'll come look at the exhibit, but let's not do the whip thing. Desi and I started a company called Master the Mask Consulting. We're dedicated to stopping the evil plans of all the criminals in the city. Our motto is cut it out, please. Pretty cute, huh? Well, we're also sell plans of criminals. I wonder if that's okay. Sometimes I think maybe we're the worst criminals. Criminals to possible superheroes, it sounds like. I wanted to show my appreciation to Mr. Wright for experimenting Don Tiger. So I lent him $500,000 in a tea set, a special thick tea, one I mixed with my own 2 hands. I bet he's drinking it now. Win through compromise. Hee 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 hee. I'm just an old man in the way, a wrinkly, grumpy clown nosed waste of flesh. At least that's what I thought. But my grandkids had a birthday party for me the other day. Talk about embarrassing. 69 years old and cried like a baby with a dirty diaper. Well, I'm glad he's having fun with his grandkids. As usual, we have an abundance of work to do. We've hired a new programmer to replace Glenn Egg. Do hope everything will get along. His name is Adamanda. As soon as I've heard his name, I knew our brain circuits would align perfectly. My. More reporters? Since the murder, we've made so much money, I hardly know what to do. I think the magazines like us because I provide such a nice visual, especially in spring. I can hardly wait for Iris to come back. Wahahaho. You've turned into such a respectable man, Feeny. I was so sweet of you, everyone else could come by. Of course I was happy that you consistently had your eyes on me. I felt kind of bad when the little one slapped you so hard you get his nosebleed. Yeah, somebody needs to teach Pearl not to hit people. No shipping people that you know, and no hitting people.
Objection!
Jeez, his objection is always just so, ugh. Oh, what's this? I'm back from a long and tiring vacation and no one is here to greet me? I guess while I was gone, my little whippersnapper buddy quit and now I've got no one. And what kind of lonely, crazy security room is this supposed to be anyway? With all the flashing lights and switches, I feel like some sort of space alien. And now that I'm going to do with the... Okay. Yep, she's gonna go too fast for me to read. You guys read all of that, right? An unofficial fate tradition breaking Ami's urn. Yeah, talk about an unofficial tradition. Oh, Fancy Whippy Whip Trip is going to turn artwood. Should have realized it sooner. Self-centered, lazy, antisocial. I'm an artist. A really good portrait artist. I'm not a loser after all. Mine, Phoenix, and 3-3. I used to break things all the time, you know. Well, Pearls and Adrian seem to have picked up where you left off. With the same object, no less. Interesting. Aw, these are nice photos. Is this...
Are these Larry's drawings? He's gotten really good at art if it's his drawings. And that's the end. Hope you guys all enjoyed Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. I guess I'll tell you about my schedule next week, and then I'll raid someone for you guys. So next stream will be on Tuesday at 9 a.m. CST. We'll be styling Kita's wig. It'll hopefully be the first, well, it's technically the second cosplay stream I've ever done, but the first one didn't really work out, so hopefully with my new camera, this one will work. Let's cross our fingers for that. And then on Wednesday at 9 a.m. CST, we'll be playing, I always forget what the title is exactly. We'll be playing Assemble with Care. And then on Thursday at 9 a.m. CST again, we'll be starting Miku's wig for my next competition piece. So, very exciting week coming up. I hope you guys are all excited. Also, since this is the last episode of Phoenix Wright, I'll have a full playlist of all my Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy episodes on my YouTube, so go check that out. I think I actually have the link for it on my Twitch About page, if you guys want to go there. Actually, I guess I can just put the link in the chat right now for you guys. Just a moment. This one. Here you go. This is the link to the playlist for all the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy streams, if you guys want to check that out. And that's it for me for this week. I'll see you guys all next week. Enjoy the raid. Bye for now.